Good evening, friends. Today we are going to talk about copyright. Copyright is a legal term. We have very less and very not clear idea about it. Copyright is a type of intellectual property that gives its owner the exclusive right to make copies of a creative work, usually for a limited time period. The creative work may be literature, maybe art, maybe education, maybe music. So, my dear creative friends, we will know about it from a very learned person in this field, Mr. G.R.Raghvender. Mr. G.R.Raghvender is a civil servant from Central Secretarial Service. At present, he is Joint Secretary, Department of Justice, Ministry of Law and Justice. He is Mission Director for the National Mission for a Justice Delivery and Legal Reforms. He is driving policy reform for improving enforcement contracts parameters under essay of doing business and e-course. He is a former registrar of copyrights of Indian Copyright Office. He played a key role in introduction of the recent amendment of the Copyright Acts 2012 and Copyright Rules 2013. He attended many WIPO and SCCR international conferences as a member of Indian delegation. He made significant contribution to many international treaties. He has contributed to revision of copyright legislation of Bhutan, Cambodia, Myanmar, Nepal as a copyright expert. As a resource person, he gave lectures and talks to the copyright and related rights in various international and national seminars and workshops organized by WIPO and several law schools and university and institutes all over India. Welcome, Mr. Raghvender. Today we are going to talk about a topic we generally don't we have very less knowledge, but every creative person should know. So, sir, tell us about your.
Yeah. Thank you, Vande Matram. Good evening to all of you. And thanks, Nafisa, for inviting me to give a talk on copyright laws and in present day conditions, how important to protect copyright on online networks and internet networks, and also various platforms like YouTube and others. So, now what exactly copyright and what exactly is copyright law? So, copyright is a legal right given to a creator, it may be an author, a music composer, and a film director, a dancer. So, these rights are given to them by a legislation passed by Parliament. That is, at present, we have Copyright Act 1957. So these provisions of Copyright Act not only recognizes authors or creative persons or right owners' rights over these copyright protectable content. This content may be literary works or artistic works or music compositions, musical works, or dramatic works, or cinematograph films, or performances of performers, or broadcasting programs of the broadcasting organizations. So copyright success in all that. So exactly, copyright can be divided into copyrights and related rights. So what all works I mentioned here right now can be divided into two groups. So copyrightable protected matter is literary works, artistic works, musical works, dramatic works, sound recordings, and cinematograph films as per our law. So, special rights have been given to related rights like performer rights and broadcasting rights. So, why these are called related rights? Because performance depends on a singing song already written by an author who has copyright, that is literary work. Similarly, his song, performance of his song accompanied by a musical work which has copyright, and that copyright is with the musical composer. That is the reason why a performance of a performer is a related work. It's a special right given under the Act, not exactly comparable with the copyright products. But of course, they do have exclusive rights, including the moral rights, which I'll take up later. Similarly, broadcasting organizations get a broadcasting reproduction right under the Act, and it is also a related right because the video recording or a program of content, whether it is a live or recorded program, which is broadcasted over television networks or radio networks, already copyright containing literary works and musical works and performances of various arts. And our copyright subsists in that very video recording or a cinematograph film. So these are the basic things one should know before we go in detail. So when was the first copyright law was introduced? So before British came to India and colonized entire India, we did not have a copyright act such because our content was just like we talk about open access and open source. So from the generations, whatever the education imparted, right from the Rigvedic times to Middle Ages, it was free, and so there was no copyright concept in our country. So first Copyright Act came into existence in 1710 in Great Britain. It is called Statute of Anne. So a copyright law giving exclusive rights, monopoly rights to authors and the booksellers who were the right owners was needed because when Gutenberg introduced printing machine, so instead of writing the books, making them copied by hand and using calligraphical methods. So printing machines facilitated printing of books within no time. It was a disruption at that time. It's an invention, and that made various books printed within a short time and circulated not only in the Great Britain but also it could easily be exported to other countries. So there was a need for protecting this. So British law basically recognizes the economics of the copyright protection of these authors and right owners, and they gave a monopoly right, exclusive right for the beginning 14 years, and that went on increasing. Finally, in 1832, when they introduced a new copyright law in the British Parliament at the time, they introduced a new concept for the term duration. They said it's not the period, but the entire period of the author's life plus 25 years after his death, because sometimes a book may become a famous, started fetching royalties. It may take some time. So that period they decided 25 years. So that additional 25 years given to him. So even though authors dies, for example, today is 22nd August. The author dies as per the postmortem actoris principle called life after death with 25 years. From the if author dies today, the counting of 25 years start from the next calendar year first day, that is 1st January 2022. Say counting will start for the 25 years. When England introduced this, and they wanted to protect the copyright of their authors and publishers, so the knowledge of copyright law spread, and there is different system called authors' right emerged. So what the French authors, French creative people thought, it is their creative work, their expression, which has to be given exclusive rights, but not the right owners, whether it is a bookseller, book printer, or publisher who is publishing that book. And that right has to be non-transferable. Only they can give license to these booksellers or printers or publishers. That's what the concept of author D right means. Author's right came into existence in civil law countries. continental system countries like France and which follows the civil laws. So then in the world became two groups. So and there was no harmony, and there was a lot of problem in implementing the rights, and the piracy was happening because the laws were different. Some countries were allowing this. For instance, when English fiction was translated into the Dutch language, the Dutch publishers were not giving any taking any permission to print the translated books from English to Dutch, and neither not paying any royalties to the original right owners. So this was a big damage to the English creative industry and also English publishing industry. Similarly, the minimum rights, minimum standards was different, whether it is the length of duration or any other right given, and the publication, the concept of publication itself was different. So, what exactly publication? For example, if a book is published today, when it is circulated, it is considered as a publication. And when a film is shown in the pictures, it is considered as a publication. When the song is recorded and it was released to the public domain through any method, when people have started buying that song, listening, so that is publication. So circulation should happen, but the various concept of these things were there. There were a lot of confusion. So finally, the Victor Hugo, famous authors like Alexander Dumas, Victor Hugo, and like-minded authors, they came together and wanted an international agreement in the Bern, that's famously known as Bern Convention for Protection of Authors and rights of authors in literary works and artistic works. So it was concluded in 1886 and later amended 7 times. So, for instance, based on the French influence, the moral rights were introduced. So, moral rights is inalienable, non-transferable rights. That the right to authorship, that is right to paternity. When a person, a creative person, writes a book, so his name is attached to that book. So that is the right of entitlement which he'll get under the right to paternity. That cannot be transferable, even though he has sold all his rights. That is retained with him. That the name is retained with the work, that content he has produced, that expression, original expression he has put. So copyright, it is originality is important. That I'll come to later. And then another important thing is the right to integrity in the moral right. That is the second right. Means without author's knowledge or permission, publisher or any other person cannot change or mutilate or transform or deform the content which he has reached, because it explains, it gives a kind of respect to that author, the way Rabindranath Tagore has written, or Mahatma Gandhi has written, or any other famous author has written. It differs from one person to other person. It depends on his cultural background, the culture in which he has been grown up, the culture which has influenced him, and then how he gathered, various information and knowledge and his life experiences, the way he has been grown up and educated, the family atmosphere, everything influence author, his psychological conditions, and his expression finally that comes in. So that cannot be mutilated or distorted. That is, we have to respect the author the way he writes it. Because publisher takes away all the rights from the author, and he can't cut out few chapters, few lines, and include himself something that cannot be done. That is the reason why, earlier this was introduced, the moral rights, it was co-terminus with the economic rights. So exclusive economic rights which author gets is right to publication. The moment he writes a book, creates a book, he has to publish it. He will give that right to publication to the publisher. and then right to copy he has to give, because one copy publishing is not enough. So many copies have to be made, and that has to be distributed in the market. So right to distribution, right to circulation. So right to publication, right to reproduction, right to distribution, and right to public performance, right to communication to the public, and also right to translation. Because a book is written in English, may become popular, but many Bengalis who have no knowledge of English, they can't read unless that is translated into Bengali or Punjabi or Gujarati, Telugu, Kannada, Malayali, Odisha, or Assami. So various languages in India. So it goes on. So author, whenever a new language translation happens, he gets a royalty. He signs a permission agreement, and then he gets royalty for that. And the guy who is translating, original expression, again translation. So the book which I have written, Nafisa translate in the Bengali language. So my expression is English different, and her, even though she is translating it, it is her expression in Bengali language. So she will get a copyright in the Bengali version of the book. Of course, she will be writing, the book title is this, original author is Raghvendra, but the Bengali version translation is author is Nafisa. So it's like this. And then she will get all the economic rights, right to publish, right to distribute, right to reproduction, right. Again, translation. Maybe tomorrow her Bengali translation is taken and again translated in the Maithili language or Bhojpuri language. You never know. And these kind of
So,
things may
sir,
happen. Or somebody, you know,
sir, I had one question. So, as a original writer of the book, will you get that royalty?
no. If the author agrees in the agreement, the whether he'll pay the one-time payment or royalty payment to him. So similar, that has to be that depends on how you negotiate with the original author. It's about an agreement. It's a legal document. It's a contract. You cannot infringe that contractual clauses. So that is very important. Similarly, if a translator will also get a moral right, just like the original author has a right to title, that right to paternity, right to respect, right to integrity, and all that, because the translation is written by Nafisa. So that name will always be there, and also that cannot be mutilated, distorted, and all the moral rights are there. So this is very important. This was introduced in 1926 in the Berne revision. So another important thing which was introduced in the Berne revision, that is the resale right. What is the resale right? Again, it's a French concept. Then when a book is sold, uh, the original manuscript of the book, which I have written or you have written, that becomes a famous now. We have original manuscripts of Rabindranath Tagore or Mahatma Gandhi. And these are not in the public domain, but the Gandhi works and the Tagore works already entered public domain. That Life Plus 60 have completed. But there may be few paintings, a sculpture, or any other famous sketches or artworks which are sold and resold many times, because now I know Nafisa, again Nafisa example, she's a very good painter. So her famous painting, she sold it for 5,000 rupees. After 5 years, somebody else started selling it for 50,000, let's say. So what she has got is 5,000 only. The guy who has bought it and kept it in his drawing room and reselling it 50,000. So the work which has not made but is making money. Because the value of that artwork has increased. Of course, he is making money, because just like any home, the property prices also keep increasing like that. Gold prices also increasing like that. But what France introduced in their law, when the famous painter died during the First World War, his wife was selling flowers, um, opposite the art gallery. Inside the gallery, her husband, famous painter's works were being sold for millions of francs. So they introduced the French property law principle that when it is resold, some percentage has to be given to the original builder, the reseller. Similarly, this concept has been introduced in the Berne Convention, which we adopted and introduced in our law in 1994. Uh, and it is for the manuscript, it is for the painting, it is for the sculpture we introduce. And this has to be not more than 10% of the resale price. So not more than 10% of the that 50,000 rupees which your 5,000 painting is if you sold it for the first time. Resale happening for the 50,000. So 10% of that you will get. So the uh, and that is the rule. But so far, this beautiful provision has not been implemented in India because lack of awareness and also interest among the various creative people. So it is for the authors and sculptors and various painters come forward and decide, form an organization and register it under the copyright law to get this enforced by the high courts. Now, after abolition of IPAB, with the Tribunal Reforms Act, which Parliament has passed recently, the rights have gone to the bench, commercial bench, which has been established in each high court. There are 25 high courts in India. For instance, Calcutta. So Calcutta High Court, there is a commercial bench where their application has to be moved as per the copyright law, and the bench will decide that it should be more than it should not be more than 10%. So it can fix different rates as per the law. That is section 52B. It says the legal entity can fix different rates. For instance, 5% for the manuscript, 8% for the sculpture, royalties I'm talking about, and 10% for the paint. So based on the commercial importance attached to that work. So normally the paintings have the most moolah they get, and then followed by the sculpture and other artworks. And manuscript has not that much important until that is written by a super celebrity. So that is the thing. And then what is author's right? Exclusive right, I already told about right to reproduction, translation, and all that. So what are these works? Works, literary work may be a book written by you, an article written by you. So when you write a book, so, or an article, I'm talking about the literary work, or write a song, or write anything. But what you write on Twitter is not copyrightable because the words do not have any, word per se. The 140 character words don't have copyright because most of them can't pass the test of originality. I'll come to what is the originality soon. And then another important is who is the author, person whose expression is original without copying. He writes a book, an article, or a poem, or a shairi. So he is an author. So without whether copyright is registration is mandatory, that's the question. No, copyright registration is not mandatory. It is only voluntary. If you want more protection, you can go to copyright office wherever you are. Log on to the website. Online registration can be made by paying the fee through the internet the system, whether using credit card, debit card, other modes, which you normally do when you go to Amazon to buy something or any e-commerce website. Similar kind of payments available for filing the registration fee. But you can also register your unpublished book. So if you are scared that you are not a famous author, you are a budding author, no one knows you, that is your first work, but you are confident the moment it is published, you're going to get name and fame and all that. whatever money you are going to get, royalty, and that will financial security you're going to get, and then you'll be writing more novels after that. But very first step is a big hurdle. Sometimes they get cheated by the publishers. So what happens? Publisher take that, knowing that this guy is innocent but has written a very fairly good work. And I've got various complaints. I remember during my career in copyright office that even famous people used to come and cry. Look, that publisher has taken away. And after 2 years, he says, "I lost your copy," and he get that work published in different person's name and then make money, and that person is not existing anywhere, or if he's existing, he has no capacity to write such book. And then so to make yourself safe and get more protection, so you can register the script which you have written, whether handwritten, as nowadays many less people are writing through hand. Most of them are computer generated works. And this as unpublished book can be registered. Once book is published, and you can re-register again as a published book. So various other forms are available in the Copyright Office website. So you are not supposed to copy anything. So originality is very, very much. What is the originality? Earlier British concept, it said that they said the labor theory they introduced. So what is this labor theory? That when you write a book, you have to spend lot of time and lot of labor. So there is a sweat of broke. So they said there is a sweat of broke conference. There's a labor, hard work, and all that. So later this concept changed into skill and judgment. So British court said that no, not only the labor, no, so there should be from each author to other author, the writing skills are different. The way you think and express, that judgment is different. So skill and judgment is nothing but originality. It says because it's not copying or cutting and pasting, so it's original expression is there. And then the Supreme Court of United States. They said in a case called rural telephone versus in a rural telephone case, they say that um, there should be a minimum degree of creativity in this. They say that simply having a skill, judgment, labor is not enough. That minimum degree of creativity should be there. Whereas Canada High Court goes in the next step, they say there should be a method of creativity. They said there's a modicum of creativity. But in India, Eastern Book Depot versus DP Motor case, Supreme Court, after examining entire history of cases all over the world, whether it is the British cases, the judgments or American judgments, Supreme Court judgment, and Canadian Supreme Court judgment, it came to conclusion that finally there should be a minimum degree of creativity with the skill and judgment. So that is the originality test of the author's expression. So question came whether Supreme Court judgments have copyright or not, because there is a publisher, Eastern Book Depot, who comes out with the online um, copy edited judgment called SEC Online. So many people are aware of this. So SEC Online, they take a judgment, Supreme Court judgment, they edit it, copy editing they do, they give introduction, executive summary, and comments here and there. And each and every case they make it short and edited to make it handy to read to most of the advocates. So same work started by other company. They said no, we have copyright on these judgments. How can you do that? The matter went before the Supreme Court. Then Supreme Court said, look, gentlemen, so we write judgments. So that is our expression. We have copyright. And then how can you claim copyright over our works, our judgments? So we have relinquished the rights. We have put that in the public domain. So anyone takes that can do that work, the copy editing, executive summary of that judgment, and the comments, commentary, and wherever related case related information. So that is a skill and judgment, that creativity. That is the minimum creativity. If SEC Online has done that, any other competitor should not copy that. But they can always take Supreme Court judgment and by themselves they can create another copy edited judgment without copying what SEC Online is doing. So, but provided that there is a originality, without copying others. So that's what the beautiful judgment they have given. So this is a very, very important originality in the copyright. So when you are writing a book, that may be a single authored book, you alone are writing. Sometimes you are in a collaboration with other one or two authors. So you write, finally, the book title is written by Mr. X and Mrs. B. It means Mr. X and Mrs. B, both in a collaboration, has written this book. So let us say that Mr. X is a very senior professor and Mrs. B is a researcher. It means all copyright go to him because he's senior, is a world famous top professor. No, it's not like that. When a collaborative work, both are there, their social status or economic status or age will not come. So they both authors have equal rights. So one person cannot give all the rights to the publisher, whether publish a book or converting, adapting that into film, etc., or translating that book. These decisions one person can't take because both written a book collaboratively, both have to give these legal permissions and both have to sign those agreements. And then when royalties get, both will get equally. This is collaborative work. Then there is a edition. So a book is edited by a person. Let's say one person takes a project on collecting various article written by about 10 experts and different topics in a subject, and he collects them and publishes a book as an editor. So who will get copyright? So this editor has to get permission from the originally who have written these chapters, 10 chapters or 10 articles. And then he will collect that rights that they give no objection to him to publish. Then he will go to the publisher and the rights agreement and signs it. And then finally the book title will have editor's name, but each and every chapter or each and every article included in that collective work, it is called collective work. So edited work, where individual author's name is written there. So their right to paternity, right to integrity, the moral rights are written. So it is between the editor and these authors what kind of royalties is, whether giving it freely or getting some compensation, or fee for that work. It has to be priorly decided. So then we have a composite work. So there is a book which is a famous book written by a famous professor or a famous person. It's become very popular. It is subscribed, prescribed in most of the universities curriculum, and it's going on. But with the passage of time, that needs to be updated. And the original author is not interested in updating book because he has various reasons. He has no time, or is busy, or his health is not permitting, and maybe various reasons he is not interested, or he is not alive sometimes. But that books needs to be updated. So who will do that? So publisher normally he will engage a subject expert in that area. He will get that book revised, redoing the chapters, introduce wherever possible, some addition have to be made, updated, development has to be given, or new topics have to be introduced in the book in the form of new chapter. That is done. Then who will get the copyright? The original author or publisher or the person who has done some entries into that. So it is called a composite book. So the author's book is because let us say the copyright laws written by Professor XYZ. He has given all the rights to the publisher. Okay, Banerjee company. So ABC has been engaged now to update the book, Dr. ABC. So the main title and the main author is that the revised by Dr. ABC is written. So he is also will get copyright over whatever he has contributed to. So his kind of composite work has been developed there. So these kind of interesting things happen. So in the creativity, so one should not get confused, and so it will go on. Then question comes. Now I'm moving to music. So music is very interesting work. Hmm? And when music is created, especially the question came during the amendments, who has rights over the Bollywood music? That was the most controversial thing happened. So when a song is written, so lyricist writes a song, it is a literary work. The song to be included in the movie should be accompanied by a music. So musical work has to be created by music composer, who is the author. He has separate rights for that. And then and then we have a singer singing that song. He's a performer. He'll get a performer, right? And this is synchronized into a film, and it is picturized a hero or heroine finally considering the situation. The song is written, it is included in the film. So overall film author is producer, copyright is with them. So obviously all these rights get subsumed into that. The question came, so there was a 1977 judgment of Supreme Court, that is IPRS, Indian Performing Rights Society versus Eastern Motion Pictures Producers Association. Who was the right? Because the authors and composer wanted, because, they floated an advertisement in newspaper at the time, Express, if I remember exactly, that asking radio companies and the hotel establishments and restaurants take license for them for the songs which they are playing. The rights they mention is performing rights. So lyricist rights and musical works, music composer rights is called performing rights. Whereas singer's right is called performer right. Okay. And the company, music company which records the song, they have sound recording right. But in the performing right, it is entirely not enjoyed by authors and composers. An international business model says, which has been approved by the World Intellectual Property Organization, the music company and the author's composer share the performing right, it's called underlying works of the song, 50% each. So 50% royalties go to the music company. They're getting already 100% rights in sound recording. That's a different right. So that's what the main confusion among the people, the music industry, who are using these rights. And then the remaining 50% goes to authors, composers. So this was not agreed to in the judgment, saying that as even though the section 17 says that the first owner is the author, but B and C that without even with even in contrary to the agreement, in absence of agreement to the contrary, rights have been transferred to them. Either you transfer through orally or by writing signed. So you don't have rights. Similarly, singers also, once they sing a song and included in the film, no right to exploit. So how to solve this issue? So this was addressed to by various countries in the since 1840s in Paris. Music rights have been recognized. And the first district court judgment says that restaurants can't play music without paying royalties to authors and composers. And then there is an international body of authors composers called CSAC, Society of International, of uh, Society, Confederation of International Society of Authors and Composers, CSAC it's called. And in each, the performing rights societies, just like IPRS, are members in that. So more than 124 countries are members in that, and then more than 150 performing rights societies are members in that. And they before pandemic, and I'm talking about 2019 annual report of the CSAC, all over the world, the 50% royalties they got, leaving about 50% gone to the music company. That is $10 billion. And they recognize India is one of the most top 10 growing performing rights society. India has a robust music company, ecosystem, and there is a music, right from the morning, from devotional music to evening disco music, and all kind of languages we have music, and there's a classical music, a folk music, a film music, and whatnot. Despite this variance and creativity and robust music companies are doing, and then now in online networks also there are various apps like Ghana, Savan, and Wing. So many song downloads are there. So how I'm just going to that online thing soon. So the court said they can't have rights. So in 2012 agreement, amendment to the Copyright Act, we introduced that the rights are there. They have to share 50% royalties. We said that in the law, these are right to receive royalties, which cannot be transferable to anyone except to the Copyright Society, which collects the royalties on behalf of these authors and composers and distributes to them. And then we set the equal membership for the music companies and the authors and composers in these societies, and there should be accountability and transparency in collection and distribution of royalties and giving licenses and all that. So this is very, very important aspect of the music. Now, what is happening in the online networks? Now, online networks, people think that they can go and download any song. It is free unless and until it is freely given to you. How they give you this song freely? Because do you think that the right owner will allow the songwriter and music composer will allow a platform owner to take their song and freely downloadable to many people or freely allowed to be streamed? But their platform will have so many advertisements, just like YouTube user. You download a video, by the time that 3-minute video ends, a number of ads will come. For ad-free viewing, you have to make the payment. You don't want to make the payment, so you have to bear with those ads. And then, so all this money, where is it going? Not only to the YouTube will have an agreement with the right owners, whether authors, composers, performers, or the music companies or film companies whose content is shown there, it's copyright protected. They share these royalties with. So we may be watching free. Similarly, you take FM radio. FM radio, you listen to the radio songs freely. You don't pay anything. As a kid, I remember I used to carry a passbook to the post office nearby, and then they put a beautiful stamp and put a mudra on that, lac seal on that. Say that my whole year license has been paid. That used to be at about 10 rupees or 20 rupees per year. Now that license has been taken out. So even All India Radio is free. and any private FM is free. Then if they are freely giving you content to listen and entertainment, while driving your car also you listen to FM radio, then how will they survive? The advertisements. You got many people keep creeping on social media, whether it's on Twitter, Facebook, and all that. Yeah, yeah, ads both come karte hain. But if ads are harassing you, how that content provider will survive? That guy has to pay royalties to these owners, copyright owners, whether singer, author, music composer, or music company. So for that, he needs advertisements, and also he has to pay salaries to his CEO and various other radio jockeys and engineers, and he has to recoup the investment which he has done in the entire equipment, and also he has to pay license fee to the government for running that radio station. So one time license fee itself 50 lakhs. Okay, and then annual license fee he has to pay apart from that. From where he will get money if he doesn't put advertisements and if you go on cribbing? That's why they give you an option in YouTube. Bhaiya, if you are bored with this advertisement, you pay. You pay and you'll no advertisement. But that system is not in the FM. They have to survive, so ads will be there. You have to bear with that. Similarly, television, cricket match, so there's a criticism, they won't allow you to see the shot or catch, ad will come. So when the 1,000 crores ESPN gets rights for IPL match, so they have to get recoup that money through your eyeballs. You are sitting there and watching, means they will put advertisements and they make money. Similarly, the online rights have given to Hotstar, so that is a deferred thing, because the right owner doesn't want to damage the television network which has got the satellite rights, because they have to survive. You watch the TV, then only they get money. Then you start watching a Hotstar same time, then TV will investment is gone, so they will give 5 minutes delay in the Hotstar. So देखना है तो पहले टीवी में देखो कोहली का चक्का and getting century and India winning, and then after 5 minutes we watch on Hotstar, because Hotstar advertisements are different, their business model is different, and because you are not at home, you are driving or you're somewhere, then you watch Hotstar. It may be 5 minutes delay, it makes no matter to you. Oh, heavens will not fall if you're watching that 5 minutes delay. Still, you are getting the content. Hmm? It's a deferred live, it's called, not exactly the live. So these kind of business models are there. So if anybody unauthorizedly uploads on YouTube, what happens? There is a takedown method. So the content owner will complain to my content has been uploaded in a financial loss. Please remove that, take down that. Based on notice, it is taken down. Otherwise, as per the law, section 52C, so 15 days time, in fact, the 21 days time, they have to get a court order. And after court order is given, that safe harbor is gone. They can't say that we don't know and all that. They have to remove. Otherwise, all civil and criminal liabilities will be there. So when I am saying civil and criminal liabilities, it means if any infringement happened, you can file a civil case in the district court. Court can order the injunction. Court can order accounts of profit. Court can order damages should be paid to the right owner. And also, there is an ant and pillar order where police can go and search without a warrant, and there is a jondo order. Jondo order means normally in the legal parlance in India we call Ashok Kumar order. What is this? For example, there is an online infringement of film is there. Film is released on Friday. It's already available on various websites, illegally downloadable, all illegally streaming. So what happens? So how many are there? You don't know. So lawyer goes on behalf of the film producer or film company. He gets a John Doe orders, means even the action can be taken unknown companies or unknown entities uploading is on internet from unknown places. So the platform owners like Google or YouTube or any other platform owner have to take down this, remove the links to that. So as per the court orders, if they don't oblige, then they have to face the music. So this is very very important. Then another important aspect of this is exception to the copyright law. Even though copyrights are exclusive rights, they can enjoy for a term of copyright that is given life of 60 years for authors of literary works, musical works, dramatic works, and artistic works, 60 years for a film, 60 years for a sound recording, and 50 years for a performer, and 25 years for the broadcasting organization. These are the term durations of given. But there are exceptions. Now I am teaching to you the law. Do you think that I need to take permission, whatever I'm talking to you, or in the classroom teaching, educational purposes, teaching starts before the classroom begins. That's what the Justice and Law in Delhi photocopy right case, Delhi High Court has given, and when it was challenged, even the Justice Pradeep Nandrajo two-bench judge also confirmed this. They say that when a teacher goes to the classroom, he simply won't start lecturing offhand, but he will prepare and then come. The preparation maybe he may read books, he may photocopy, or seek the assistance of various people, assistants, his juniors. They collect the material and then give it to him. Based on that, he will prepare a PowerPoint presentation and go to the classroom and start giving lecture. So he did not take permission for them from the right owners, the publishers, and authors, whichever book he is reading. Or he may photocopy few things. He can give it to as a course package of the syllabus given to that. That's what court said. It's not infringement of copyright because classroom lecture won't end in the one hour lecture. In the post lecture, students go to the library and read, and they may get doubts, and they come back to the teacher, and that discussion will continue. That goes on till we and me as a student, just before 1 week or 1 week before exam, we rush to the teacher and sir, I have it this doubt, please explain. So this is common. That's what court said. So this will continue till you write examination and then pause. And then writing examination also exceptions are there. So you need not take exception because reproducing it there. And then translation. You are doing a research. You get a script of Bengali document, and you don't know how to read it. Then you ask the librarian to translate into English. He does it. Do you think that he has to go to the publisher and author, take permission for the translation, and pay the fee? No, it is exception for the education and research that is possible, that extent. But you're not converting that from English to Bengali and selling in the market. If you do that, then you have to take a permission. Otherwise, you'll end up in jail or end up in paying a heavy fine as damages. But education purpose, otherwise you can't write your book or a thesis until you get it translated that few chapters or a few pages. So that is exempted. That's what I'm saying. So this is very very important. And also criticism and review. Criticism review means whether it's in print media or electronic media, the book you have written is discussed. His book cover page is published, and then few pages are published, and then some write up is written in the newspaper, or it is read out in the television channel, few important paragraphs, and there is a discussion. So this cannot be punished as a copyright violation. Exceptions are given. Then what is the criticism review? Some another aspect of criticism review of your works. What is that? Parody. Somebody makes fun of that. Parody. Sholay dialogues, Gabbar Singh, Basanti, and Samba. Even today, we recreate, make fun of that. So any parody and pastiche created in such a manner, it is also it contains originality, original expression. You're not copying that originally, but you're presenting in a humorous manner with a critical outlook is there. So there is a originality, so exception is given. And then coming to the remix of songs. One original song of Mohammad Rafi or Mannade or famous other singer, remix is done. What law says is statutory license mentioned in 31C. For 5 years, you can't do the remix. That's why the song owners himself, they bring the remix when the song is released. If anybody does it, so it is illegal infringement of the song. But after 5 years, there is a method. Statutory license is fixed by the court. Nowadays, it should be the commercial bench of the High Court, and then ask for the fee. You make that fee to them. Similarly, there is an orphan work. Bengal University and various universities in Bengal prescribe that book as a fundamental book to be read in the curriculum. Written by a famous author, published by XYZ publisher. But XYZ publisher दुकान बंद करके चले गया. Author is dead, not traceable. But that copyright still subsists. Life after author 60 years. Then the copyright owners, his relatives कहाँ हैं? कोई जाकर कैलिफोर्निया में बैठा है या चिकागो में बैठा है या बर्लिन में बैठा है, you don't know. How will you search? But that book has to be published and sold in the market for the students because there are no copies available. Not only one university, various universities are saying that that is the best book of 1970s. What will you do? So there is or this is called orphan books. Means neither author nor publisher, right owner available. The book has become orphan, but you can't print it. There is a legal method that was 31A mentions. So there should be an advertisement in one leading English newspaper, Mein Anand Bajaj Patrika, and in the Statesman or something, and Bengali newspaper Amrit Prajat Patrika, if I am right. And for 1 month, that notice period extends. He will say, who is the right owner? I want to publish this. Please contact me. Give me permission. After 1 month, no one appears. He will go to the now earlier used to be Copyright Board or IPAB. Now the Commercial Bench of Calcutta High Court. He will file an application as per that, and the commercial bench will give him a license and ask him to pay minimum amount this. So you will ask, no one is there, who will they pay? To whom he will pay? He will deposit that in government kitty. If any author's relative, either publisher appear, that money will be given to him with interest. Otherwise, Calcutta में पुल बनाने में use करेंगे. Government, just like taxpayers' money is used for the development, it's like that. So this is the beauty of the copyright law. Again, there is a statutory license for the broadcasting, radio and television. So without going to if author denies voluntary license, you need not go for the compulsory license. This is automatic license given to promote the broadcasting industry, both television and radio in India. It is applicable to the radio and the television only, not to the internet streaming. Many people got confused this. Please, if you have such doubts, please remove from that. If that has to be introduced, government has to amend the act, main provisions of 31D, and then introduce this element by extending it to the internet streaming or internet networks as well. According to the consent rules also have to be amended. And then another major area which I would like to talk before I end my talk, that is how internet online networks it is protected. When internet came, everyone was happy. The content creators, authors, painters, everyone. So we get a lot of access to all of the world. Not only my books are painting known in Bengal and Calcutta, entire India will be known, entire world will be known, because when you upload a copy on Facebook, everyone will see, or you have a website in the entire world will see your works, and then online order will be placed to you. So you'll be selling your pieces, your works to San Francisco, Portugal, or Colombia, Brazil, or Australia, anywhere, sitting in your drawing room. What happens? So the technology IT convergence made you various ways to you know um, get money. But again, this technology created problem. Illegal uploading and downloading. Before you sold that, somebody has illegally uploaded. Everyone is downloading it. So from where you will get money? Hmm? So what will you do? That again, technology help you. There are encryption devices have been put locks on that, so no one can download unless and until he will register his name, make the payment, then while registering that login and password will be used as a decryption key once he makes the payment. But there are intelligent people who are very unscrupulous. They will hack. They will not register and make the payments. They will hack and download and illegally upload to various places, including YouTube, and they start sharing everywhere. So how to stop it? So WIPO Internet Treaties came in 1996. They introduced the rules against circumvention of these technological protection measures, like devices used to protect, whether it is the soft copies of your books or music or films, basically, including software and games and all that. So, if anyone knowingly, so all members have to give adequate protection, legal protection, whether civil remedies or criminal remedies. So, India introduced in 2012 with 2 years imprisonment and fine if somebody illegally hacks this and then takes away this content without permission, without making money, and spreads this over internet. So these are the important thing I wanted to convey to you. So thank you very much, Nafisa, and giving me this opportunity. You
We
have
have
any?
few questions. We have few
Yeah,
questions.
please.
First thing is, you talked about painting and all. What about photography?
Yeah,
Photographer
photograph
do.
is an artistic work. Earlier, photograph term was very less, 25 years. But when internet started, the WIPO Internet Treaty extended the length of copyright. This India recognized this in 2012. We extended the life of the protection for the photograph to life of the author plus 60 years, similar to
That's
any literary work or any artistic work.
okay. And there is a tendency of us to just translate the music, I mean the lyrics of the music, of a song, from one language to another language. And if it's maybe it's a Spanish song or a old English song, and in Bengali, Telugu, Tamil, Punjabi, whatever, they just translate it. So what's the rule? And one more question: this, if the person is other country, I mean foreigner, and doing this translator is from Indian, then what's the procedure and what's the rule?
If a song is written in any language and that is copied and translated in copies other language without permission, that is infringement of copyright. It is about the literary work. And then song contains music also. Now, recently there was a big joke and criticism over a famous Indian music producer when a particular country's national anthem was played during the Olympics. So I don't want to take that country's name and that
Yeah.
music composer's name. So he says he was inspired. No, there is no inspiration. You have copied it. So the most polite name for infringement and copying is inspiration. So this is also uh, not legal. It is infringement. And then people make films. There have been court cases which courts have confirmed that many Hollywood films have been,
Copied.
scene by scene have been copied
Copied.
without taking permission of remake permission. So it is illegal infringement of copyright. If somebody is
So
doing that is wrong, that should not be encouraged.
yes,
What I
so
say is
Indian.
that respect the copyright others and try to come out with your original thinking, original story, original script. If you can't, If you think that by copying that you will get, adopting that you will get, go and take a permission before do so.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Thanks for the discussion. And any other point you want to add?
No, that's all. I think I covered most of the things in my 1 hour talk. And thank you. Jai Hind. Take care and
Thank
follow
you.
COVID norms. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.